She sees a lot of the students pretty much every day in the cafeteria at lunch. She's there most days, so she gets very familiar with the students. She knows them by name pretty quickly into the school year, but she does a great job of working on, social emotional learning. She comes into the classrooms and does career and college exploration, and then also works on setting academic goals. She is also the 504 case manager for Track 1. If students want to see her, they can make an appointment via email, or they can stop in student services and set up a time to meet with her. But she's great with the kids, and we are very fortunate to have her on Track 1 working with our students this year. I will come back in a little bit and address some information I have to share about math, but I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Miskell, and he's going to talk about our team expectations.
All right. Hi, my name is Matt Miskell. I'm the science teacher. Team expectations, you can kind of view this as joint values that we all share between, Ms. Bulkin, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Manholt, myself. I'll just go through them real quick. Trying your best, that's a pretty cool one, because in 7th grade, their best is increasing like every day, and we're getting more aware of it as we get to know them. So with their increased best, our expectation is going to follow. Advocate for your needs. This is something I didn't learn until like college. And so this one makes me pretty excited, because I was still learning how to contact professors and everything. So I would like to share that experience with them sooner than college, right? Starting out those skills right now. So it's our expectation that they come to us, they email us, somehow reach out to us if they need anything academically, socially, emotionally, whatever. We are here for them. Being kind. I don't know if y'all know this, but middle school can be brutal. And we're on the lookout for that all the time. Not in a judgmental way, but let's start teaching these people how to take care of each other. It kind of leads into offering help to others in need. I think last year about this time, I saw a student drop their Chromebook, and the students behind them stepped over it and kept going. And I don't judge that student for doing that. We're in middle school. This is when we learn these skills. But I love teaching science. I would much rather them learn how to pick up the Chromebook for somebody rather than recite all the organelles in the cell, right? I think we all have that shared value. These are things that are being taught in every single one of our classes for their character. Of course, we want them to be honest. We want them to take responsibility for their words and actions. And a lot of conflict that I see between two students, kind of their first go-to is to tell us all about what the other person did. And in life, you can't always control what other people do, but you can control what you do. So that's where that is coming from. And lastly, follow directions from adults. I think the root of this is trust. Our motivation is for these students' development. And so every single direction that we give is for that. So we hope that our students know that we are here for them, and we hope that they can trust us, and that should come out in expecting them to follow our directions. Thanks.
Hopefully you've heard from me on Fridays. I've already sent out 2 team weekly updates. I'm sending that through talking points and through email. I know that may be overkill for a lot of you that are getting it both, through both apps or both means, but hopefully we're reaching everybody. And if I need to add or edit any email addresses that are being used currently, I need to add some, please let me know. My email address is there. And if you haven't already, please bookmark our team website. We do have a calendar on there that's also connected to the school calendar. So events that are pertinent just to our team as well as the school will be popping up there. But hopefully you're getting updates from us on Fridays, and that will continue throughout the year.
All right. Hi, everybody. I am Betsy Bulkin. I'm the ELA teacher. Absent expectations. If you guys are ever absent or if they're ever absent, students have the responsibility to make up their missing assignments. We do have a little bit of a grace period, so there's no need to panic and rush through everything. Again, that goes back to making sure we're doing our best every day with our assignments. Each one of us will post and communicate work through Google Classroom and our websites. I know for myself personally, I have it listed by the week. So if they're ever absent, all the assignments, whether it is on paper or digitally, will be there, including my slides. And then students have a number of days so that, or a number of days they are absent to make up any missing work. So again, if there are any questions, if they're ever out for a day, just shoot us an email. We'll be happy to help.
Hi, I'm Michael Manholt. I'm the social studies teacher this year on 7-1. Just taking a quick look at our daily schedule. The one on the left is our club day schedule, which we will follow most Mondays on weeks when we do. On weeks we do not have like an early release, it will be our club days. So they'll have their first two cores, team time or recess, lunch, electives, go to cores 3 and 4, and at the end of the day we'll have our club day. We have, I think, over 20 clubs offered this year, and students are able to sign up for those. They got to choose their top 4 earlier this week, and they'll be assigned to their clubs within the next couple weeks once track 4 gets back. The one on the right, the schedule on the right, is the one that we'll be using Tuesdays through Fridays or any Monday that we're here if there's not a club meeting. The good thing about 7th grade is we have that nice large chunk of break in the middle of the day where they have, we go from Spartan time, which will be on team on those days. They'll rotate between each of their core classes. They go to lunch. They'll have recess. We finagled things around so that they could have recess every day this year, weather permitting, not just 1 or 2 days a week. And then they have electives. So they have that nice little brain break in the middle of the day before they come back for their cores 3 and 4 at the end of the day. Our next slide here is just a quick little video from our math and literacy essentials teachers. They couldn't be here. It's about a minute. They just wanted to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name's Amanda Flo.
And I'm Brooke Rose.
And we teach the math and language arts essentials classes. These classes are designed for students with special needs who have proven to need a small group setting and a much slower pace to access the curriculum.
We teach grade level standards as well as support IEP goals in math and reading. If you have any questions, please reach out to us by email. Thanks and have a great night.
All right, let's talk about everybody's favorite subject, math. I have 2 sections of Math 7, and then I have 2 sections of Math 7 Plus. For both classes, I teach very similarly as far as what we're doing in class. Class time is dedicated to learning new skills and practicing those new skills together. And then at home, we are trying to do some practice and applications with those skills. We're trying to kind of rethink how we use homework time. So I'm trying not to assign homework in a traditional sense. It's more if the students did not finish in class, then they would finish that activity at home. That might look like a Delta Math assignment. Delta Math is an app that we use that practices skills. I am also assigning a spiral set every Monday. That is a cumulative review of learned skills. So those are done in a Google form, and then the students are showing out their work on a green piece of paper. They're getting those assigned on Mondays and they're due on Fridays. And those are usually max about 10 problems. Right now, it's just sort of a review of 6th grade content because we really haven't had a lot of opportunity to dive into the 7th grade content too much. If you are finding that your child is spending an really unreasonable amount of time doing homework, math homework, please reach out to me and let me know. I'm not intending for them to do more than maybe 10, 15 minutes max a day, if that. So if you're seeing they're really stressing out about their math homework and they're not able to keep up and get it done, please let me know so we can address that. I'm not intending for them to really become overwhelmed with math, because then they start to lose interest. So please reach out to me and let me know what you're seeing, because I don't always see that manifest in the classroom. We do allow, or excuse me, the assignments that I post daily are on my calendar, which are on my math website. And it shows the activities we did in class that day, as well as what the homework is and any upcoming due dates. We do allow reworks. We just had our first quiz today, and the students rated it sort of easy, medium difficulty level. So that was good to hear. We do allow reworks on any quiz. So whether they got a 95 or they got a 65, they can do reworks. And I do have a specific process for that I will teach them. Reworks on tests, they can rework a test if they scored below a 70. And I do have a similar rework policy that I will teach the students once we have our first test. If you're interested in knowing specifically what we're studying in math this year, I have curriculum maps for both disciplines on my website, so feel free to check those out. Recurring assignments, things that the students could or should be doing every week. Dreambox, if you were on 6-1 last year, the students were required to do Dreambox every week. We have repurposed Dreambox this year, so it is no longer a requirement, but I am recommending it. I do want the students to keep up those skills that they have mastered through elementary and 6th grade. So I would like for them to do it. And I'm offering extra credit points if they do their 5 lessons every week. I've already talked about the spiral sets, and assigned on Monday, due on Fridays. And I do offer a problem of the week for extra credit, and I post that in my classroom as well as on my website. So if you have any additional questions that I did not get to, if you'll hold those to the end, or shoot me an email and we can clear that up.
All right, so for ELA this year, we will be looking through a lot of different types of texts. They will be reading 3 specific novels and doing a poetry unit. Recently, we have already completed one of our poems, so I've gotten to learn a little bit about them and how their mind works and their creativity, which has been really awesome. We start each class every day with the warm-up. They know this. They get it on Monday. They come in, they start it, and then they will begin SSR until class starts. These warm-ups consist of sentence corrections, figurative language analysis, vocabulary and context, and then a read and response. And the read and response sometimes has a funny video to go with it. It has them talk about an experience they've gone through, different things like that. So again, it's another way for them to practice their writing skills, but also allow me to learn more about them. Each Friday, we start class with about 15 minutes of silent reading. This way, they have their chance to kind of decompress, start class off in a calm manner, and they're also getting that reading time in. I know that's something that I myself even struggled with in middle school. At that age, it's really hard to try and find a book that really captures your attention. So we will be going to the library every other Monday, so they will have time to actually look and find something that they really enjoy. Most days in class, I will have some time at the end for them to be able to start homework and even finish some work that they might have. If it's not completed in class, it will need to be done before class the next day. I don't really assign any homework. It's more along the lines of, if you don't finish in class, it needs to be done, and I'll be checking it the next day, or they need to turn it in because I'm collecting it. And I would like them reading 10 to 20 minutes every single night. Each week, they are required to do 1 read theory quiz at a 70% or better. I know last year it was 2. We're starting off with 1, and then I might increase it to 2 throughout the year. I just want to get them started on it again, get them back into the routine of doing it. But these help me assess their reading comprehension and what skills I might need to work on. So if I end up pulling small groups or kind of meeting one-on-one with kids, this allows me to see what I really need to look at them. Keys to success in ELA. Please make sure that you keep up with all of your classwork and are always writing down your homework. Again, it's normally things that they don't finish in class, and reading every night. For me, everything that I have is in Google Classroom and on my website. So I post my slides, their assignments, even if it's paper, the materials will be in Google Classroom. So in case they're absent one day or they are out of town, you need to print a copy or you lose a copy, it will all be in Google Classroom. Please ask for help. I really do not mind meeting with you guys one-on-one, either during lunch or during Spartan time. I'm here to make sure that they succeed and end up really loving looking at text and analyzing and reading and things that will help them later on in life. I do give study reviews, so they will be having their first test next Friday. It will be their short story unit. They'll be getting a review on Monday of term, so they'll need to be studying that every single night, and then we'll do a review in class on Thursday. And I think that's it. And if you have any questions, you can either shoot me an email or hold till the end.
Sorry about that. Welcome to Social Studies. We're going to study history from a worldview. Quarter one, we started off with mapping skills. They had their quiz last week. It was just posted in Power Schools. But when we start our history study starting next week, we're going to do 1400s to 1600s. Quarter two is 1600s to late 1800s. Quarter three, 1900s to the interwar period, so World War I, and then that time in between. And quarter four, World War II to modern era. And once again, we're going to be focusing on from a world perspective, multiple viewpoints, multiple angles. We will talk about the United States, but more as a involvement or participant, not strictly from a U.S. history point of view. Homework, generally, it's finishing class assignments. I guess that's been a theme on our team this year. The other thing is, if they are done, I do recommend 10, maybe 15 minutes a night reviewing their notes. We're going to be kind of a little bit of a notes heavier class, and that's the basis for our tests and quizzes. So if they're watching half an hour TV at night, click mute during the commercials, pick 3 or 4 words, concentrate on them. Then next commercial, pick another set of 3 or 4 words or terms to study and review. And that's about 9 minutes of studying there. And you use your useless commercial time for something productive. Our keys to success in my room: show up, pay attention, do your job. Kind of self-explanatory. Follow the directions is important, whether it's written or verbally. It's bell works on the board when they come in every day. I generally in that have an agenda, and I tell them, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is when things are due. This is the expectations. I also post a daily agenda on Google Classroom every day for the students in class if they forget, or if a student is absent. Those things, all class materials and agendas generally aren't posted till about 10 minutes before the students in school class is scheduled to begin. Try your best every day. If you try your best, I can help you. If you're dogging it and you aren't trying your best and you raise your hand and you just say, I don't know, it's really difficult for me or any other teacher or adult to help you. But if a student's trying their best and they don't get it, it's much easier for us to, help them succeed. Do better than the day before. Okay. Every day is a brand new day. No matter what the situation is, things that happened yesterday don't carry over. But even at that, we do need to try and strive and build and get better. Before coming to 7th grade, I taught 8th grade for 7 years. So I know where I need to get the students to be successful there. And to do that, they have to try and do better every single day. Ask questions. It's how we learn. It's how we grow. It's how we survive as a species, is asking questions. It's not weakness. I tell them it's a strength to being able to recognize what you don't understand and finding the resources, the people to help you succeed. Use your time wisely, whether it's class time so you don't have homework, or class time when the teacher's there to ask questions. Students should check PowerSchool and Google Classroom regularly. Like I said, every single day, I put an agenda up for students. I put all the classwork, whether it's printed in class, they can still access it and see what it is. Copies of notes are there. They can fill in their vocabulary or their notes if they're absent, or just use it to review. And all of their assignments are also posted there. Especially if you're absent, Google Classroom's the first place students should go. Email me if they submit something late through Google Classroom. This week we've had 2 or 3 assignments that we've done the activities actually in Google Classroom, which is fine. But if they turn it in late, especially if I've already graded it, students need to email me and let me know. This just name, assignment, and say, hey, I'm turning it in. That way I know to go back and look, because if you think about 128 students, and if we have 15 assignments, by the end of the quarter, I can't go back through 128 times 15 every single day to see if somebody turns something in. And last one here is something that I know in 8th grade is said a lot, and I brought it down, is quality work turned in on time. Do your best and get it turned in on time. If you're not quite done and you're actually going to finish the assignment and turn it in the next day, that's great. If you're not quite done and you know you're not going to turn it in, it's your best, still give me what you got. We'll grade it and we learn and we'll do better next time. So that's all for me.
All right, science. So I put there each unit, quarter 1. All right, so we've already finished up the nature of science, and we're in atmosphere right now and weather. Quarter 2, cells, 3, genetics, biology, anatomy and physiology, and then physics on quarter 4. Keys to success in science: keeping up with your work. We do a warm up every single day. That's worth 1 point each day, so it's 5 points a week. There's a strong correlation with success and not having warm up zeros last year. So it's basically a participation grade for that. That's mainly just to come in and let's just get our minds on what we're covering that day. Another key to success: engaging class discussions, labs, group projects. My class is very social. We're up, we're moving around, we're working with partners. We just talk as a class a lot. I don't pressure students on the introverts and talking a lot. I would never do that. But I do provide many different ways to engage with others, with me, maybe one-on-one, trying to cover the whole spectrum of personalities. Homework. I bet you can guess what kind of homework policy I give. It's if you didn't finish it, it's homework. Except for sometimes I give like observation type homework, like watch the weather tonight, see what those L's and H's on the weatherman's map mean, right? Let's check out the fronts. So I'll put that in the weekly updates so y'all can be aware of that, so you can kind of facilitate, them watching the news or whatever. Ask for help, okay? And different times you can come to me. The students come to me in Spartan time or lunch, or if they can even talk with me if neither of those work out for them, to come before school with a pass. But that would have to be set up so they can actually get back here. They can email me or talk with me. I'll write them a pass. Or I can meet them in the library, whatever. That's more one-on-one. They'll have to talk with me about it. And then the number one thing, I underline it: don't be afraid to mess up or make a mess. In science, we make messes. It's supposed to happen. We worked with plants this last week and there was dirt everywhere, and that's good because that means they're getting their hands. We're transplanting plants. That's the kind of culture we're trying to set in the science class. The whole scientific method is about proving yourself wrong, right? So we've got to mess up. We've got to be wrong and then talk about why we were wrong. So I try to say that every day. hopefully they hear it sometimes. So we make our own textbook. We don't have textbooks. The world, just looking outside this unit, you can look up to the clouds. That's our learning. So we pull articles from online, we make notes, we do labs, and we keep them all. And hopefully throughout the year, we can see progress in their note-taking skills and what they find is important in an article and not just highlighting the whole thing, right? So later on in the year, you should be able to look back in the binder and see a progression of skills. We do a lot of labs. Be on the lookout in those weekly updates. Whenever a lab is coming up, maybe 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away, I'll start putting in there materials that we need. Thank you so much for already contributing a lot of gift cards. Amazon, Target, Lowe's, Walmart, anything, whatever you think would be good for science class, I guarantee you I can work with it. And all those gift cards will be spent very soon. So yeah, I try to bring in a lot of different things other than just, paper, pencil, computer into science class. So yeah, thank you for already contributing to that. Tests and quizzes, if they score less than a 70, they can rework it. That looks more like meeting with me and let's talk about study habits. Let's talk about maybe why we got this score. What can I, as your teacher, do better? What can you, as a student, improve upon? And then after we work on those and then apply it back to that content, then they can retake it. Quizzes looks about the same way, except they can get up to an 80 on that. Those are shorter. Those are about 10 questions or so, about 3 or 4 per unit. Let's see, I already went over the homework, and then Google Classroom, that's where everything is. If they're absent, go to Google Classroom. They are still expected to do their warm-ups, still expected to know what work they're supposed to do. And that last line, students are encouraged to email me directly for clarification on work. That just goes along with advocating for yourself. I'm pretty big on that. So the reworks for the tests or the quizzes, I expect them to come to me. Hey, Mr. Miskell, I bombed that test. I need to meet with you. Great, let's talk. I'll make it very, very clear that they need to come talk to me, but they need to be the ones to come to me. I really want to develop that skill of advocating for yourself. So if you have any questions, email me or ask me soon. I think we're done.
Yeah, I think that wraps up all the information that we had to share tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And like I said, we are recording this presentation, so if you missed part of it or know somebody that missed all of it, Mr. Kajia is going to post it on the school's website in the next couple days. So that will be there for you to reference. Are there any questions that people have for the good of the group? Again, if you have specific questions for your child, we ask that you reach out to us via email. But if there are questions that you think everybody would benefit from, please ask now. Thank you, Ms. Swanson.
Hey, I have a question. I was wondering, do the kids have time during the day to go to their lockers? These book bags are like crazy big. I was just wondering, I kind of got the feedback that there wasn't enough time, and I was just wondering.
The students do. They can go before their first 2 classes. So when they arrive on campus, they can go to their locker then, and they would only need what they would require for their first 2 classes. So definitely their Chromebook and then any binders or what have you. Then they can go again after Spartan time before we go to lunch. And then they would only need what they need for lunch in their electives, which usually is next to nothing except maybe a Chromebook and change of clothes, and then their lunch. And then when they come back from electives, they can go again, get what they need for their last 2 classes, and then they can go again at the end of the day. So what I'm seeing is that some students are choosing not to use lockers because it's just one more thing to do. Or if you feel that your child is struggling to sort of organize their time and their day, and what do I need to put in my locker and what then we're happy to work with them, and just let us know. Shoot us an email, or better yet, have your child, okay, when can I go to my locker and what should I get? And we're happy to help them. So
Okay.
yes, there is time. Maybe we need to help them better manage their time, but we're happy to do that.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Thank you.
Also, with the slide deck be available, this was very helpful. I was hoping that we would get back to the schedule slide. I saw you going back through all the automation.
And then we have a version of this schedule in our pod area, and we've highlighted when locker times are. They're in bright pink, so they can visually see, okay, I need course 1 and 2, then I can go, or in Spartan time, then I can go locker, and then I need these classes, and then I can go to my locker again. So we have that. It's right outside Miss Vulcan's store.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the one out in the hallway looks like this.
Oh, live action shot.
Now give a tour of all the classrooms. I'm just kidding. You guys are great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, if there's not any more general questions for the group, Mr. Kaji and I have ownership of this, and it's that time that we need to get going on, so I need to start shutting it down. Feel free to hop out of the meet. Like we said, if you have any individual questions about your child or something, please feel free to reach out and contact us anytime. A lot of times contacting one of us is the same as contacting all of us. But if you want to include all 4 of our email addresses, sometimes that makes life easier as well. We thank you for coming. Enjoy. Have a good night and drive safe. Some of us are still at school.
Got jokes.
Hello, could I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is about the yearbook club. So I mean, my son was interested, but then he was worried that he might have a lot to do and he might not be able to manage his work. So I mean, is it different from all the other clubs, or is it like if he joins any other club, would the yearbook club still be available for him to join? Or
I think that's lasting the majority of the year.
I see.
And it would meet definitely on those Mondays, club days. And then there might be times, depending on what Mr. Fisher does, is he kind of breaks it up, and certain groups of students will be in charge of getting photos for like the football team or the basketball team. And so, they just spend a little bit of time after school here and there getting the photos, and then maybe a couple times after school here and there editing or arranging things. But it's not as time consuming as it once was, because most of it is all digital now.
I see. Gotcha. Okay.
And he would definitely want to go talk to Mr. Fisher, just to get an idea of specifically what the requirements are.
Okay.
Mr. Fisher's just at the top of the stairs, in the middle of the building. We can help, help the kids find him. But yeah, I would definitely recommend that they talk to him as well.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, one more thing. It's about taking down notes. So at home, when he's reading his notes and, we are talking about it, most of the time he mentions, okay, there was one more thing my teacher told me, but I don't remember it. I did not write it down. So, I mean, how do you guys teach kids to take down notes in a better manner or in a more organized way? Or, I mean, do you have any pointers for that? Or it's just through practice that they're going to learn over the time?
I'm a real notes heavy class as we go throughout the year. And the strategy I tell them is if I move beyond a slide, I'm probably not going to go back, but to put a little star in their notebook. And then when we're at another future slide, they can, caught up, they can look at their friend's notebook, or I post all the keys to all the notes on Google Classroom. They could, during Spartan time or any other time, pull it up and find those stars, fill in the missing note, and then just erase the star.
Good. Thank you.
In math, their notes are guided notes. So I've already given them the problem and then we work it out and they write that down. So it's not maybe like you and I were used to when we were in math where we had to write down everything in notebook paper. So if he feels that he misses, a solution or something, he just needs to speak up and, we can address that.
Yeah, it's mostly about the science and social studies.
Okay.
Take down the notes while the teacher is talking about stuff. So it's mostly about that.
Yeah.
Sorry. For ELA, some of their notes are like fill in the blank notes. So it'll be like a photo basically of the slide that I have. And as we're going through it, as I'm talking, they'll just fill in the key vocab terms. There are times where I'll tell them that, like, just take a look at the slide, things that are bolded or things that are like vocab terms or things that like I specifically tell you, you need to have this written down. This is an indicator. This is the most important thing. You don't need to copy from the very first word to the very last word. That was something I struggled with in school. So
Yeah.
I don't want them having to feel like they have to write paragraphs of the entire slide. Not everything there is but if they are someone that does struggle with pulling out those things, everything is in Google Classroom for them as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Google Classroom. When in science, we create our own notes. So a lot of times I'll give them a blank piece of paper. We're drawing together. They're drawing and or labeling certain, I don't know, like right now in weather, labeling different types of fronts or whatever. But and then I'll scan it and I'll post my drawings on my paper onto Google Classroom. I try to get those notes that week on there. It's not that day. Usually I try to get it in that week. So trying to allow them a little bit of independence on what they want to write on their notes. And over time that gets better. So I don't expect them to grasp all the super important things. So I give them those resources on Google Classroom to refer to, usually the week of. So.
Okay. Yeah. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up and thank you again for coming tonight, and you know how to reach us if you have other questions, concerns, and we hope you have a great Friday and a good weekend and stay cool.